If you're watching this, you're watching the replay. Mons. All right. I don't know who's on, but it is Friday, and I am going live. And I'm going to do a little shaping with some Canadian redneck here. Hello, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was going to get ready anyways, and I thought I would do a quick little live. The wonderful folks over at Canadian Redneck sent me a stronger version, I think it is, of their mocha wax. So I was going to shape up my mustache anyways, and I thought, well, why not do a live? And, you guys will see it the first time here. Here is the wax. I have not dug into it. It's just regular wax scented. Hello, how are you? And I thought I would get on here and try out this wax that they sent me. Hello, how are you? It's supposed to be a little bit stronger, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. So we can definitely cross that bridge together. Now, the first thing I got to test is whether I can scrape it out or whether I've got to heat it up. So the only thing I've done so far is after showering, I shaved, wet the mustache down again, and then I took a blow dryer and a brush and pointed it back towards my ears. There was a gentleman who sent me a message, hello, Patrick, who had asked me, what to do to combat the tips leaning forward. So the two things that I do is I will, while it's wet, brush it and blow dry it back towards my ears. And then as I'm shaping it with wax, I will bend it back towards my ears and then let it set. And I found that as I bring it forward, it doesn't tip forward as much. Here we go. Switch from TBS to me. Your stash looks good as is. Yeah, the natural. Oh yeah, I think Sean would love this. Great wax smell. This is Mocha by Canadian Redneck. And it's still a little sticky. So that's how I determine whether I need to hit it with a hairdryer or not, is whether or not it stays sticky in my hands, right? Because I don't want sticky as I'm first putting it in. So what stash wax have you found that doesn't require heat? Well, there's several I have used. The Stash Salt I've used, so Scallywag, Afterburn, and Smooth Bore. I have not applied heat. I use all of the Firehouse mustache wax without heat. Definitely the Brett Christmer line, the BSC Enterprises. There's nothing in there I've had to use. Even the Tacky Wax Remix, I have not had to apply heat to it. Sudden Death from Death Grip is another one. Old Country as well. I have not used heat on those. So sadly, I did unplug the hairdryer. So you guys are going to hear a loud hairdryer. Hopefully this doesn't mess anything up. Unplugging my phone. I had a buddy, we were doing a dual live on TikTok, Sir Stash Lot, and he didn't have his phone plugged in. So as we were going along, all of a sudden, his phone just cut right out. So I dug into it a little bit. It's a little sticky on my fingers, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use low heat, and I'm going to run it over it for like 15-20 seconds. So it's going to get a little loud. Somebody had asked the question, is there anything to make it grow faster? Nothing I know of, other than keep it healthy with like a beard shampoo. That's what I recommend. You don't want to strip out the oils in your mustache. That'll let it be healthy. Use a beard oil or a beard balm, or beard oil and or beard balm when you're not waxing. Let it grow to its full potential. So have you tried the Bossman Mustache Mud? No, I have not yet. I have a wax that Sean sent me. I still need to use, and that is this guy here. I have not cracked this open yet. I got it at the back of the he shed, and I just keep forgetting to use it. All right, so it's going to get loud. Right over top. All right, that was about 20 seconds. So you can see it's just a tiny bit shiny. That's how I like to do it. It scrapes out a little easier. goes into my fingers. It's not as sticky, but I can definitely tell this is going to be a good firm wax. So almost all waxes, they want you to start at the middle, use about a pea size, and go from the middle outward, right? But most of the time, for me, I start here, but I start shaping it back. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll rotate the hairs this way, and I do this method I call pinch and slide. Hello, Alan. How are you? Happy Friday, everyone. So I've got maybe about a double pea size. Rub it between my fingers, get it pliable, and then I try to typically go towards my shoulder, right? Because that gives me the same point on both sides of my mustache that I try to aim for, so that I can at least get the same somewhat slope. So that's 2 so far I've put into the mustache, and I'm doing a little pinch and slide. And when I say I go back towards my ear, what I'll do is I'll bend it back towards my ear. And once I get a little more wax in, you'll see it. But that's kind of how I start to combat the mustache tipping forward. Also, I don't do the twisting anymore. So you can see how much wax I'm getting. So I've done 2, now I'm going to do 2. I did twisting early on. And what I found for me, as far as a preference, it put a lot of tension, on the base of the hair. And that's when I went back to doing this pinch and slide method that I had done very early on, but as the hair got longer, I wanted to try new things. So as you can see, I'm pulling it back towards my ear, right? Oh, I need to go more towards the shoulder though. It's a little different because I'm using the phone versus looking into the mirror. So every now and then I'll have to pop up there. Hope everyone's having a happy Friday. I need to grab the second one. Oh, Brett Christmas sent you some wax. That's awesome. Yeah, Brett Christmas wax is a wonderful medium wax. Comes out of the tin relatively easy. I have not had to apply heat. The scents are amazing. The firmest of his wax that I have tried so far has been the Tacky Wax Remix. But what I like to do with some of the other ones is I will use them for like a first coat, right? So what I'm doing now, I will put the BSC Enterprise wax in and then get a good base shape, let it sit for a little bit, run a comb through it, and then I might go over it with, a strong wax like a Firehouse, or I might do a Death Grip. I might put a Can You Handlebar secondary over top of it. Plus, one of the things, what did I do with my paper towel? One of the things I see that I do different than I see a lot of the other guys who shape their mustache is typically guys will put wax from there out and leave it more natural. But my hair is so thick and long that I go from the middle and try to go outward. Because I know throughout the day, the more I breathe, the more that this area is going to loosen. So I try to put a little extra wax. All right, so I think I've gotten 2 on each side. But I typically dig out maybe twice the pea size, rub it back and forth. And I go from the middle right here, and I've got it on my thumb and my finger, and I'm trying to coat it over there. Yeah, I've heard that quite a lot, asterisk. So I try to use that in my tags on TikTok. That and Escanar, and Lorax. I have been called the Lorax a couple of times. So one of the reasons I use my fingers like this, what works for me is it helps to also keep the hairs a little in line for the style that I make. Right? Because I'm stacking my hair up like this versus, bunching it up, which I can use the cigar method to do that. But this is the first time I've used this new mocha from Canadian Redneck. So I thought I would just go with the standard way I shape. And then typically I will let it set for like 5 minutes. And while I do that, we'll see if we can't do like questions and answers. I got to go up to Tractor Supply, which is a like farm store. I got to get chicken feed. So, my philosophy on making mustaches is relatively simple, I would say. And that is practice, patience, and repetition. So, practice it as often as you can. And it's okay. You're gonna have bad days, because even the bad days are good days, because even on a bad day you learn something, right? Have patience. Not every day is gonna be a first place national trophy type mustache, but it's good to have that practice, because you learn a little bit, and have a little patience, because the mustache takes a little while to grow. For me, it took 5.5 months. Oh, sorry. I want to show you guys. I'm going back towards my ear, so that way you guys can kind of see it. And that's how I combat it, tipping forward. Have a little patience. It takes a little while. It took me 5.5 months before the middle was long enough to push up with wax so that it was out of my mouth. So I didn't have to keep holding it up, or now I have a mustache mate, which is really cool. I'll try to remember and grab it here in a little bit. And then repetition. My whole first year to 14 months, I put wax in and shaped every day, 7 days a week. It didn't matter if I wasn't going anywhere. I just wanted to see if I could make the same style I did the previous day or the days before that. As you can see, it's not turning out the way I want, but that's all right, because I will be tweaking it. Will I ever grow the beard back? I want to, but right now I'm really trying to be like a mustache ambassador, and trying to generate as much interest in mustaches as I can, because I would love to see more big mustaches out there. And I'm not picking on anyone. I love beards, but generally any guy can basically put down a razor and do nothing for 6 months and can grow some type of beard. It may not be Viking, but they can grow some type of beard. That's all you have to do. Now, I recommend you take care of it. Make sure it's healthy. Use a beard shampoo, use beard oils, all that stuff. But with a mustache like this, you kind of have to commit to it. You have to definitely take care of it. You don't want it drying out. You don't want to chew it. You don't want to trim it unless you really need to. And my philosophy on trimming is not that you don't trim it, but I always say wait 3 weeks, right? Because your hair could grow a little bit. Make sure your technique is the same over those 3 weeks, because if you're taking hairs that are different lengths, right, and they're now rotated so that some of the hairs are sticking out that you're drawing from, say down here, and you snip them off, and then the next day you shape it, and now you got this long part because you trimmed off that part, and you snipped that part, and then the next day you've got hair like this, and because this one's now short because you snipped it twice. So what do you got to do? You got to snip all of these, and then you're going do 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 do, and then you'll have a little sliver. That's what's happened to me. So I always say, if you really want to trim it and you've got a really long hair sticking out, give it 3 weeks. Keep shaping. That's where the practice, repetition, and thank you. This is a Tractor Supply hat. I like it. It's camouflage. Got the American flag on it. But it'll make sure that, that hair is your trouble hair. So at the end of the 3 weeks, if you're like, okay, it's been sticking out, I've been, shaping, I've been practicing, I've had my patience and the repetition, it's still sticking out a little bit, then you just take a little bit off of that end and then check the other side, maybe take a little bit, but then don't touch it again for at least a couple of days. And the reason I say that is make your tiny trim, right? Plan on it, okay, I'm just going to take just the tips off. And try to make sure you take the same amount. But give it a couple of days, because, tomorrow you might comb it and the hair may not lay the way it did today, tomorrow. Then you look, you're like, okay, it looks a little different. Well, let me snip off this side. And then you run into that problem. You're like going back and forth, okay, let me take a little bit more. Let me take a little bit more. And next thing you know, you got a little sliver and you're shaving it all off and starting over. So this is the Canadian Redneck Mocha Wax. It's a different formula of the mocha wax that Canadian Redneck had sent me, so I'm giving it a try. I have not used this blend before, so why not do it live, right? So you guys can see kind of what I go through when I'm putting wax in, because a lot of people will ask me, what's my favorite wax? What do you do with this? What do you do with that wax? And I will share all of my my experiences, but also know that even though I believe your mustache is just as good as mine, the hair is going to be a little different. From the quality of the hair, to the length of the hair, to the thickness. Shedding is a normal process. My understanding is the average mustache has like 600 hairs. So each day you could be losing 3 to 6 to maybe 7 hairs just by, normal combing, or when you put wax in, you may get a little bit of hair stuck to your finger. Don't freak out. I would only say worry if as you're putting the wax in or you're combing, you feel yanking, right? So if you put a wax in and it's really, really firm, maybe run a hair dryer, out here just to soften it a little bit and run the comb through slowly. Don't put the comb in and do like that, because if you've got what I call like a knot, right? So you got hair like this and you got one that's bent and you jam in a comb and you pull it, you're going to grab that knot and yank it out. Any difference between beard wax and versus mustache wax? Well, one, what I'll say is I've never tried it. But I imagine due to the hair, the longer hair for beards, and it's going to be a little thicker, that it's not going to give you a hold. If you put beard wax in your mustache, it may take a little bit more to put in to get a hold like I'm trying to get today. Mustache wax is made for mustaches, but you can use hairspray. And I've never tried it, and I wouldn't tell anyone to do it because I don't know about it. But I've had guys tell me they take Elmer's glue sticks and put it in. I'm going to stick with what's designed with natural ingredients, specifically for mustaches. I cannot read the ingredients on that one, but let me grab one of my BSCs. It's all natural ingredients. So this is Monkey Farts by BSC. And you've got ingredients: beeswax, coconut oil, lanolin, and fragrance oil. I mean, that's all you got on there, right? So these are all natural things. I've been using all natural like mustache waxes, and I've never had an issue. I do wash my mustache still with a beard soap. On non-waxing days, like yesterday was a maintenance day, so I put beard oil in, and I put a beard balm, and then I blow dried it and brushed it back. Yeah. I'm just telling you that, I've had guys like, I use a Elmer's glue stick. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell someone else to use that. I will tell you what I use, and that's all natural ingredient, like mustache waxes. Today, Canadian Redneck. This is a mocha, a different blend. But, even with the hairspray, I put it on my fingers and I run it a little bit, and I don't like it. I can't adjust it. I'm a wax guy. I mean, I can make, adjustments throughout the day. Sure, a little bit of hairspray may be firmer. It may hold it a little bit, but I can't make an adjustment in case something doesn't look right. My first time using hairspray, I put it over top of wax, went to work, didn't realize that one side of my mustache was up and one side was down. It looked good before I left the house, but it dried like this. So when I got to work, one side went down and one side went up. And every time I push it down, it snapped right back up. So I wound up just putting water on and then trying to run a comb through. And I yanked quite a lot of hairs. But how does this wax smell today? No, this one definitely reminds me of just a wax smell, a beeswax smell. I would rate it very similar to like the Savvy Jack. So anyone who's ever had Savvy Jack, their mustache wax, that's what this smells like. Like real chocolate. Brett Christmer has different scents. He's got the hot cocoa, the s'mores. Let me tell you what, that s'mores was amazing. I was thinking about just transitioning my Instagram and my TikTok to nothing but me doing, just sniffing his waxes. So I thought it was pretty neat. So, I've been yabbering for a few minutes, and as you can see, so I let this wax get back to room temperature, right? So I'm going to put this on cool. Do not want high. Let's put it on high. Cool air. Wind tunnel test. All right, get in here. As you can see, it pretty well held up. And that was me blasting it with cold air, and it held up pretty well. I don't have as much wax in here as I would like, so I will probably put a little more in there. Oh, I mean, I definitely will. You can see the tips held well. But I think I'm going to try to do an Imperial today. So I like to comb the wax through. So I've always talked about when you just apply wax out, on the tops and the bottoms, when I have it on my thumbs, I'm going on the top, I'm going on the bottom, but am I getting it in between those hairs, right? So by running a comb through, you not only make sure that the hairs are aligned, you now get wax in here. So now it's going to hold a little bit better. Oh, you made a special batch for Sean this morning. Oh, all right. So I go through slow. And that was cool air I hit my mustache with. This is the Canadian Redneck Oxhorn mustache comb. If any of you are interested in buying from Canadian Redneck, Elliot 15 will save you 15%. So as you can see, no yanking. But I did already blow dry it while it was wet and brush it back. Tried Roy Bert DeVux yet. I think he reached out to me and he was shipping it to me and he said he wasn't sure when it was going to get here. So I have not yet. That's the gentleman out of Norway I think you're talking about, Mons. But as you can see, there were no hairs. I had brushed it and blow dried it. And when I apply the wax, I try to keep the hairs aligned. Now I'm going to stare into this other one because I'm trying to do a Imperial. And I want it to go kind of wide from up here, come down towards my shoulder. And you can see some of the hairs, they're jumping loose, which is okay. I'm pinching them back. And there's one of them toddler hairs I always have. I'm going to pinch it, and start to curve it and bend it back towards my ear. I found that really helps me. And I'll put another layer of wax on. But I try to pinch it back together and get this piece in there. Yeah, a little more wax will help that. Oh, you little stinker. See how it wants to go up like that? I don't want that. I want it all in line. So I'll try to bring it underneath, pinch it. I'll probably have to do it with a little more wax, but that's all right. So a little bit of tension. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Pinch and slide. Pinch and slide. Hair alignment is a big thing that I try to pay attention to. Bend it back towards the ear. My preferred mustache shaping as I try to do tapered. So I try to go from thick to thin out to a point. And that's what I like the most because a lot of people are like, why did you trim your mustache? And I'm like, because it was too long. It was one width too long. All right, let me see if I can keep this pliable between my fingers. A little tension. A little more. It's okay if it comes apart a little bit. I'll just pinch it back together. Are you going to Scranton for the competition? Yeah, for nationals. So Beer Team USA, the 2021 national competition is Scranton, Pennsylvania, September 11th. September 10th, they're having like exhibition stuff. So I'm going to try to be up there the 10th so I don't have to worry about driving on the 11th. Hello, how are you? All right, so that side's not too bad. Let me get some wax over here for the other side. So yeah, after this, I'm going to go to Tractor Supply. I got to get me that chicken feed. I might go get me some wholesome, delicious Burger King, right? Oh, well, good. I'm hoping to see you there. There's supposed to be a lot of guys coming out there. There's another one in Nashville in July. Like July 10th, I believe it's another in person. I would love to get out there, but we've got a wedding to attend in early July. So trying to like travel back to back and pay for hotels and all that, I don't know. We'll have to see. I got my eye focused on nationals in September, and that's where, I want to be. And then of all the competitions going on next year, between the West Coast Classic, the live bearded in April, West Coast Classic, I think January. There's a big one in Rugby, UK in August that I would like to go to. So if I had to sacrifice all the other ones, it would be going to the one in the UK. And then, of course, after that is Worlds in Auckland, New Zealand, 2023. Oh, you little booger right there. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Get a little more wax on it. So I definitely want to make it out there. I'm trying to get one of my sponsors like, hey, you said if I needed anything for competitions, you want to go to New Zealand? So we'll have to see how that figures out. Oh, I had Burger King earlier today. Oh, yeah. Burger King. Well, the thing is I don't know if I want to like sit in my car and munch Burger King. Oh, those are different thicknesses. Look at that. See that? This is what you get when it's not pre-recorded in front of a live studio audience. Just trying to make me an Imperial. Keep it all together. And like I said, this is Canadian Redneck Mocha Blend. This is supposed to be a little more firmer than the blend he had sent me before. So I thought I would test it out today. And I said, you know what? Why not just do it live? So you guys can see kind of what it is I go through when I'm trying to make my mustaches up. And it, you know, they're not always pretty. You know, mine are not always pretty. Ooh, see, I'm running into an issue that I always talk about. Then I forgot. When making a mustache, try to make sure that you keep your hands clean. Especially the way I style my mustaches, I get in and I pinch and I go through. But if my fingers get too sticky, as I make, you know, as I push the mustache back together, my fingers being sticky, as soon as I go to pull them loose, it'll open the mustache back up. That can be frustrating, especially when you've spent a little bit of time trying to make it look pretty, and then all of a sudden it comes apart. All right, let's run this out again. Those hairs just want to do what they want to do. But we're all having fun. It's a great Friday. It's beautiful here in Virginia. I think it's 81. I was out weed eating earlier. Did the ditch in front of my house, and then we've got like a circle drive. And I was out there going around the circle drive with the weed eater, and I hit a rock, and a chunk of the line came loose and like smacked me in the head. I'm like, okay, it's hot. I'm sweaty. I'm covered in grass clippings. I'm just going to go ahead and call it right there. I'll go in and get a shower, and maybe I'll do some more later, or maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. We're supposed to have beautiful weather. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to come together. I think I need to heat the wax up a little bit. So bear with me. It's going to get a little loud. But blowing the comb and everything off. So what I'm doing is running it right over top of the open wax. I'm going to do it maybe 15, 20 seconds, but what I'm looking for is for the wax to be shiny. You don't want it super hot to where it's like liquid, because then it can start to really bunch up. As you can see, I'm right over top of it. Oh, there we go. It's just starting to get shiny. I don't know if you can see it, but right up there is just a little bit shiny. Oh, it's raining there all day? That stinks. Oh, yeah, look at that. Came right out, and it's going between my fingers really well. All right, go towards my shoulder. Get my thumb underneath to push those hairs up. Pinch and slide. Yeah, I'll try to stay over here so you guys can see me. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get enough in and start to shape it the way I want, so that as it starts to cool, I can bend it and get it into position before it really starts to harden. There we go. And I'm not being gentle. That's one of the reasons I pinch it up here, is I'm pinching and sliding, and if I just grab it like that, then I don't want to be yanking hairs out. All right, here we go. Come on. Bend it back, bend it back. There we go. How long have we been on? I don't even know how long we've been on. Been having so much fun. I'm not even paying attention to the time. I don't know when I started. It's been 6 hours. I don't know. It hasn't been 6 hours yet. There we go. Get these guys together. Bend it back towards my ears. Yeah, this is really firm stuff. Have you used Captain Faucet's? I have not yet. I've seen, I follow them on social media, and I've seen several people wearing their stuff. I probably need to reach out to them. I've got so many waxes in my he shed right now, trying to like dedicate a day to each one. So many great waxes from, Can You Handlebar, Death Grip, BSC, Donut Explorer, Savvy Jack, Twisted Mustache, Canadian Redneck, Stash Salt, and I'm probably missing one or two. All wonderful, wonderful waxes. I've got Mustache Mate, West Y. All of them I'm trying to... Have you tried fisticuffs? Yeah. So I got a tin of fisticuffs in 2018, very early 2018, and I had been growing a beard, and I was trying to let my mustache grow out, and I started using the tin of fisticuffs. Now, I did not know what I was doing, and I was putting it in my mustache, and I don't think I was doing it right, so I wasn't getting the hold that I wanted, and I wound up switching out. But I know they make various blends, so I might have to go back and try them again. All right, let's try to get this guy. I'm trying to get it out to a point. That's not too bad, but it's see right here. I don't like how it's like comes in thin and then it goes out one length for too long, or one width. So I'm trying to pinch it out. Make sure all those hairs are aligned. All right, and I need to shape this side, shape this side. That's the hard thing. In true symmetry, you're not really going to get true symmetry. I've tried, and anyone who says they have true symmetry, I bet that if you gave them enough time and they looked at their own mustache, they'd be like, oh, I see a spot that's not right or a little different. And they would start tweaking it and they would pull it apart. And I know I've done it myself when I'm like, my mustache is perfectly symmetrical. And then I'll post a photo, I'll go back and I'll look and I'll like, oh, it's not right. It's a little uneven. One side is, it's curving up too much too early. Oh, and then I'm like, I should take the photo down because it's not really symmetrical. The hard part is, so this is my right side, and I'm right-handed, so I can do this side pretty well, I would say. This side always gives me problems because I have to do with my left hand what I do with my right. Is this stressful trying to shape live? Do you ever get nervous? Every time. But when I first started doing live shapings, I was like, okay, well, it's got to be perfect because everybody's tuning in. But then I remembered that not every day that I shape is it perfect, and it's okay, and they're not going to be perfect. So I remember to just try to have fun and do the best I can. I've had lives where the 6-year-old wants to come in and say hi, and she has a lot of energy, and she has tried to jump up, grab my phone, and run away with it. And she's done that outside. She's hit me with objects outside, and I don't get mad, but that's not how I planned it, right? So yeah, I'm a little nervous right now, but everybody's been so nice. Other than sometimes on TikTok. Some people on TikTok are a little bit of what we call the a-holes. I'm not gonna say it on here, but yeah, they can be a-holes. All right. So I want this part to be a little bit thinner, like that, and squish this part in. Thank you so much. I want it to be a little bit thicker right here, but it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm just going down the road to Tractor Supply. It's too thick right here. So I want it to be more like this. So how do I handle it? Well, I will try to say, okay, which side looks better, you know? I'm like, well, I like the way that this one goes thick to thin to a point. This one doesn't do it as much. So I will try to make this one look a little more like that. But if it doesn't work out so well and I'm spending a little bit of time on it, I might go, you know what, can I make this one look more like that one, and then compromise, get in between. Yeah, some of the TikTokers, and I know they're just trolls. I was on Wednesday, right? I went to lunch, and I went to Bojangles, and I thought, well, I'll go live while I eat my lunch. And I said, I called it Mustache versus Bojangles, and it was so great. So many people were tuning in. And what I love is, people get on, they're like, hello from Brazil, hello from Africa, hello from Russia, Ukraine, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, Ecuador, Argentina, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, all these places. And this was all happening on Wednesday. So I'm trying to like, hello Brazil, and hello Ecuador, and hello, and I'm jumping back and forth. And I thought it was really cool. And the number count, like right now we're at like 9, currently watching me live. I had 182 people watching me live. And people would jump on there. It's like, can you give a shout out to Scotland? Can you give a shout out to, this and that? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm trying to read them. And one of them says, can you give a shout out to Hugh, H-U-G-H, Janus, J-A-N-I-S. So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, hello, Hugh Janus. Really? But it was funny. I wasn't mad, it wasn't like a bad word, but they got me. It was kind of funny. So I was like, okay, no more shout outs like that. I'll give a shout out to a country, but it's got to be a country that, I'm familiar with. Don't be putting no weird ones in there. Like, can you give a shout out to the planet Uranus? Like, what? But yeah, it looks pretty good. Like I said, this is my first time using this wax, this blend of wax from Canadian Redneck. I dropped the tin into my little garbage can. So this is Canadian Redneck Mocha. It's a special blend they wanted me to try out, give them some feedback. So this is my first time using it. I did a live shaping here. It turned out pretty good, right? The only issue I would say is that I wanted to put a little more wax in here, just because I know it's going to be my trouble area from breathing. It's going to loosen up a little bit, but the ends look really, really nice. The symmetry is pretty good, and it's not bad for me doing this in my phone versus the mirror. But it seems to have held the hairs in there pretty well. If you like Canadian Redneck, my code is Elliot15. Save yourself 15% off. I did use their comb, which is an ox horn comb. I love how wide it is. Check this out. It covers all of my mustache. The shirt I'm wearing today is Mustache Key. Talking of mustache combs, if you guys are interested. I know Mons just got his. So yeah, this is really cool because it's a key made into a comb that you can put on your keychain, right? And this is another one. Look at this. It is nice and wide. Metal combs, there's advantages to them because if you get wax on them, you heat them up with a hairdryer and the wax will slide off much easier. Greetings from Mexico. Oh, hello, Mexico. But, it's a personal preference. It's just like the waxes. People are always asking me, what wax should I use? And I'm like, well, depends on what you like. It's like asking me what food you should eat. Well, I don't know what you like and what your taste buds are and all that stuff. And whether your mustache is long like mine, whether it's thick like mine. whether it's a little bit lighter, whether you're trying to go with this particular look, or if you have a different look in mind. Are you doing an English, a dolly? Are you doing a chevron? Are you doing these open curls? This isn't really an imperial, because I would have it go up more towards my eye, but I started bending it like this because it looked really good. So that's kind of why I stopped with it here. So in case you're curious, that's about how much wax I dug out of this 1/2 ounce tin. This is the mocha blend that they tweaked to be a little bit stronger. They asked me to take a look at it and let them know what I think. And it's, I mean, look at that. That's firm, right? But it is 71 degrees in my house. I haven't been out in the sun. So that's part of the testing I'll also do, is go out and see how well it holds up. I'll eat a little bit of food and see, you know, I'm already afraid that I didn't get enough wax in here. But this is my first time using the wax. Sometimes, if anybody's looking for like a tip, sometimes what I'll do is I'll hold the mustache, take my comb, not like this, but like this, and I will drag it over. And sometimes what that can do is it'll realign the hairs before they set, so it looks a little more natural. And I just run my fingers over it. That seems pretty good. Yeah, that turned out pretty well. What do you guys think? Pretty good? Gotta make sure you let Canadian Redneck know that I did a good job using their wax they sent me and showing it off. As always, if you guys have questions, definitely hit me up with a DM. I will tell you though that if you have a private account, right? And I've had this, and I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is somebody will say, "Hey, can you give me a tip on my mustache?" But like, well, your account's private. You got to send me a photo. So wear a shirt, okay? I did have one gentleman who asked me a question. I said, "Well, let me see your mustache." And it was one photo of him shirtless, laying in the bed with one arm up, you know, trying to give me, trying to, what I would say, give the bedroom eyes. And I'm like, "All right, man, well, I can see your mustache." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, that's the only one I have." Really? Because I know on my phone, I've got like 12,000 portrait photos of this guy doing the blue steel. But yeah, you know, send me a photo. I will try to convey what has worked for me. I know Mons has taken some of the stuff I've done and he's adapted it, and I think he's surpassed me, right? So rise, Sir Mons, you are knighted. But what's going on, Copper Jones? So yeah, this is Canadian Redneck Mocha. If you have questions, send them to me. One of the things that I talk about is combating the curls going forward, and I do that in 2 ways. One is as it's wet, I blow dry it and brush it back towards my ear. And then when that's done, as I'm putting the wax in, which is demonstrated here in this video, you can go back, watch the replay, is I will try to bend it back towards my ear and I let it set. And what that does is as I start to bring it up like this, you can see that it is staying back a little bit. And throughout the day, it'll come forward a little bit, but my mustache used to turn all the way like this, or it would just bend forward, and I want it more like this. I like this look. So the knighthood, yes, I will take the title Mustache King, but it, you know, you if you dawn on Mustache King, eventually somebody's going to want to challenge you and dethrone you, which I'm okay with. Nationals is September 11th. If you've got a mustache, go check out Beard Team USA or Beard Champ USA as well. And through there, they have the categories for the mustaches, okay? If you go and read the guidelines. Mustaches. This is for Donut Explorer. So when you read the guidelines, like for the handlebar, you cannot have any other facial hair, right? Sideburns not, you know, included in that. For mustaches, no other facial hair, and you must be clean shaven from the corner of your mouth down. Their guidelines last year was 3/4 of an inch from the corner of your mouth. Going outward is where you're allowed to draw the hair from. I do not believe that goes from here to here. But what they're trying to do is give a guideline so you're not drawing hair all the way back here, right, into a mustache, and that you're not drawing hair from down there, you would be in a partial beard category. So, and that's what I was trying, I think Donut Duster had asked me to just elaborate on that a little bit. There is in-person prejudging. So you show up, you tell them, I'm going to be in the handlebar category. They will look at your mustache. They will look and make sure that you do not have other facial hair, that you're not drawing from down here. If you're early on in your handlebar journey, what I started doing was I would start to draw the hair up. I'd take a comb, and anything that had tension through here, I'd take a comb and pluck it out, right? And lay it down. And then that's what I started to shape. And the reason I did that was, one, I was putting a lot of tension on the mustache. It would pull it back. And when it would be waxed like this, I'd get to work and I'd yawn or I'd go to eat something, and those hairs would then pull the mustache apart. So I just started pulling those hairs out when I had a beard, laying them down, and then putting the wax in. And it helped me out quite a lot. If there's anything I can do to pass along any of my experiences, any of my knowledge, I am more than willing. Any one of my posts should have all of the discount codes. Don't forget, this weekend is Father's Day. So if you're thinking of buying some beard care products, some mustache wax to include, I think you can get this oxhorn comb from Canadian Redneck. There is shave stuff I have from Death Grip. I have pomade. There's wonderful companies out there. They're very passionate. Even Can You Handlebar has a special code only good through this Sunday, Dad30, 30% off. It'll be in this post. Go back and check. So if you're thinking of getting yourself something, a brother, a husband, a father, uncle, or what started me was a tin of fisticuffs given to me by a friend at work because I had a little bit of a mustache with a beard I was growing in 2018. And then I started learning how to shape it. So this is now 30 months. I've been using wax for over 2 years now, and not every mustache is pretty. So practice, patience, and repetition. Don't give up. Give it 3 weeks. If you want to trim it, don't chew it. Mustache Mate has a wonderful little tool. This is for pushing your mustache up so that you can eat, not get it dirty, but more importantly, not chew on the hairs. All right. I am not a firefighter. I did want to be one as a kid, but as life turned out, I graduated high school and joined the Army, where I spent 11 years. I used to jump out of airplanes for a living, and I loved it. Right. All right. Well, let me get off of here. I need to go get me some Burger King. The belly's grumbling, and I got to pick up chicken feed. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a happy Friday. I am Bob. This is Elliot Norris, my mustache, wishing you a wonderfully bearded day. Happy Friday, everybody. Bye-bye.